Oh, I'm still sick, y'all. I'm still freaking sick. I've been sick for like 2 weeks and I'm not here for it, okay? Like, go away. You're not invited. Hey everybody, and welcome to this video. This is going to be my 2017 favorites video. So basically this is going to be my favorite products from all of the year. So I went through my entire collection. I looked at all of my favorites video from the past year, which honestly there's only 3. I feel kind of bad about that. I'm like, maybe hopefully this year I'll be a little bit more consistent with the favorites videos. So these are all of my favorite products that I've been using throughout the year that I either discovered this year, products that came out this year, or products that I just started using more of this year. So yeah, these are all of my favorite products of 2017. So if you guys are interested in seeing what products I recommend, go ahead and keep on watching. Oh, also, before we get into the video, if you guys are interested in this look, it should be my next video coming up. I did film this look, but I wanted this favorites video to go up because we're already 5 days into the new year, so I'm already a little late on this video. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this look, then keep an eye out for my next video. It will be a tutorial on this right here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the video now. Alright, so the first products that I'm going to start off with are my moisturizers for 2017. And so my first moisturizer is going to be kind of like my spring summer moisturizer. So when my skin is a lot more oily, so the warmer months, the hotter months, my skin tends to get much oilier. So I do use a gel moisturizer. And the one that I found this year that I have been loving is the L'Oreal Hydrogenious Gel Moisturizer, and this is not its original packaging. This is actually a travel jar that I had to put my product into because my pump stopped working. I think I dropped it and the pump stopped working, and it's not a packaging where you can kind of just screw off the lid and kind of tap it out. Like, I literally had to pry off the pump. Like, there was no salvaging it, so I didn't want to just kind of leave it open. So I went ahead and I just put it all out into a travel jar, in case you cared. I don't know. But yeah, so that is what this is. So yeah, I just really like this moisturizer. It is a drugstore moisturizer, although it is a little bit more on the pricier end of drugstore. I believe I bought it at Walmart for like $17 or $18, which I was like, that's a little much for drugstore, you know what I mean? Like, I'm used to drugstore being like around the $10 to $12 mark. Like, that to me is like, okay, reasonable. If it's like $15 or over drugstore, I'm like, okay, that's like a little much. Like, drugstore prices have been on the rise. So this was about $17 or $18, which is a little bit on the pricier side, but honestly I think it's definitely worth it. I really like it. I think it's good. It does hydrate my skin. It soaks in really quickly. It doesn't leave any like stickiness or anything like that on my skin, so definitely a good gel moisturizer. Definitely my favorite of 2017 for sure. And then the next moisturizer I'm going to talk to you about is my colder month moisturizer. So basically in the fall time, winter time, when it gets cooler out and my skin gets drier, I do switch over to a thicker moisturizer. So the one that I've been loving is the Shea Moisture 100% Virgin Coconut Oil Daily Hydration Face Lotion, and I do have the face oil that goes with this, and I really like that as well. But this is a really nice face lotion. It's really nice and lightweight, but it does give me a little bit of extra hydration than a gel moisturizer would. So I like to use this during the colder months because it is a little bit thicker. It's not a thick moisturizer by any means. It's just thicker than a gel moisturizer, which I definitely need in the colder months because this air here is like dry. The weather here is like intense. Like, as soon as you walk out the door, like straight ash. So I literally have to use like 3 moisturizers for my body just to like stay moisturized throughout the day. And then I just like to use a thicker moisturizer on my face. So yeah, like it, love it. get it, use it. Also, it has a really nice smell to it as well. It's like very clean smelling, and I don't know, it's not like anything that's super overwhelming or super strong, but I just do like the fact that it has a really nice scent to it as well. So now moving on from moisturizers, I'm going to go into the primer, and the only primer that really stood out to me from 2017 is the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. This is definitely a summertime primer for me. I definitely cannot use it in the colder months because my skin's not oily like that, so this would be way too dry for me. But in the summertime when my skin is oily, this puts it on lock. Like, this definitely keeps all of the oils at bay. It makes your foundation last so long. Like, this is it. If you have oily skin like all year round, or just anytime your skin is oily, try this primer. It is amazing. So moving on, next from primers is the foundations, and I have two foundations that really stick out to me from this year, and it is the Sonia Kashuk Soft Focus Satin Matte Foundation and the Milani Conceal and Perfect Foundation. These are both drugstore foundations. They're really good, full coverage foundations. They keep you matte. They stay all day long. Like, these are some of the best drugstore foundations in my opinion, for sure, like hands down. So I pretty much mix them in if I have any foundation that is like lacking coverage or might be a little off in color. I'll mix these in and they work. Like, they just save the day all the time. Like, you probably seen me like add it in like randomly. Like, these are just like my favorite go-to foundations. They just help to salvage any foundations that don't work for me. Like, these save the day, so I really like it. The only downside, especially for the Sonia Kashuk one, is that there's not that many shades. I'm pretty sure there's only like 5 or 6 shades of the Sonia Kashuk one. So if you're any darker than me, you probably won't be able to find the right shade. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I'm like the darkest shade in the summertime. So that sucks. But if you can find a shade that matches you, it's definitely worth it. It's such a good foundation. I just think they need to step up their game as far as shade range goes, because we're in 2018 now. Like, are we still having this issue? Like, come on. And then the Milani Conceal and Perfect. It has a larger shade range for sure, but I think as far as, at least in store, I haven't looked online or anything, but I don't think they really go to the deeper skin tones, which again, like, drugstore needs to step it up when it comes to shade range. Like, just saying. But other than that, they are really good foundations. If you can find the right shade, go ahead and get that. I can't think of any specific blush that stands out. Like, honestly, I change up my blushes kind of like on a daily basis. There are a couple ones that kind of make the rounds, but I couldn't choose like just one blush like I could for each of these other things. So we're gonna skip over the blush. For concealer, I have definitely fallen in love with the Tarte Shape Tape, and I honestly never thought that I would get to this point, because I tried it twice before and they were completely the wrong shade for me, and it made me hate the concealer. So if you tried a concealer and the color is off and it makes you hate it, try it in the right color, because honestly, like, the color will really change your mindset. I remember trying it out and being like, what the heck, like, what is everybody raving about? Like, it's terrible, I hate this, like, ew, it looks terrible. And it was just because I literally didn't have the right color. Like, I don't know who I thought I was, but I was getting like colors that were never gonna work for me, even on my palest of palest days. Who did I think I was? So I have the shade Tan Sand, and this is literally like the perfect shade for me, and I love it. And it just made me fall in love with this concealer because it is really full coverage. It does last all day. It doesn't crease. Like, it's amazing. Definitely hands down my favorite concealer of 2017 for sure. And next up, I'm gonna go in with my favorite powder of 2017, and that is going to be the Makeup Revolution Luxury Banana Powder, and I am obsessed with this powder. I actually have found a new powder that I might like a little bit better, but I'm not going to include that in this because I literally just found it like towards the end of the year. So that'll probably be in my next favorites video. But this for sure throughout the year was like my favorite highlighting powder. So good. And you get so much, like, oh my gosh. And I think this is only like $6 or $7. And I used it for months, every day for months, and I barely scraped it. So definitely such a good price for the amount that you get, for sure. Like, this would last you like years. Moving on to eyes. Next I'm going to go in with my eye primer, and that is definitely going to be the NARS eyeshadow base. This is my holy grail eyeshadow base, especially in the summertime when my eyelids are oily. I feel like in the wintertime I can kind of slide by using mediocre eyeshadow bases because my eyelids don't really get that oily, but in the summertime, like, it's another story. So yeah, this definitely hands down took the cake in 2017 as my all-time favorite eyeshadow primer. It just set really nicely. It kept my eyeshadows from creasing. It was literally just everything you would want in an eyeshadow primer, and then some, you know. Just kidding. But no, it was really good. So definitely recommend. It is a little bit on the pricier side. Right now I am trying out a drugstore one, but honestly the real test will come in the summertime to see if it will last. Like, it works now, but we'll see when my eyelids are oily how well it works. You know what I mean? That's when we'll put it to the real test. Okay? So for eyeshadows, honestly, I have so many eyeshadows. All the eyeshadow palettes, like, I've gotten so many throughout the year. I'm just like an eyeshadow junkie for sure. Like, if there's anything that I would purchase the most of, it's definitely eyeshadows, especially because, like, honestly I probably have like all the eyeshadows I need, but for some reason every time a new palette comes out I'm like, no, like, I need that palette, like, no, I need that palette. So it's just, it's a problem. It really is. But definitely I could only think of one palette that really stood out to me for 2017. It's the only palette that I was like, I have to get. Like, I was there as soon as it launched. I was like, I need to get it as soon as it comes out. Like, this eyeshadow palette, no matter who it was by, it wasn't because of the person that created it or the person that was associated with it. It was strictly like, I saw the colors and the palette itself and I was just like, I need that palette. I saw the swatches, I saw the whole layout of it. I was just like, everything about it just looked amazing, aside from the fact that it was by an influencer that I do like and I do follow. The actual palette itself was like it could literally have been by like Tim Tuckett down, like, it could have been by anybody. Basically, like, no matter who it was by, it could have been by L'Oreal, it could have been by Maybelline, like, it doesn't matter, the brand. It was the shadows itself, like, it just, like, I was like, I have to have it, and I have not stopped using it. And I have not stopped using it since I got it, and that is the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. Honestly, like, this palette is amazing. It's pretty much everything that you need in life. Like, these colors really, like, just are so beautiful. So it has really good transition shades, really good dark sultry shades, pop of color shades. Like, it just literally has everything that you could want in a palette in one. So good. So good. Like, I still could just sit here and, like, stare at this palette. These colors, this is literally, like, my favorite shade of color. Not, like, to wear on my eyelid, but just, like, in life. So pretty. So pretty. I love it. Hands down, the best palette of 2017. For sure. For sure. For sure. I just have a couple more things. We're still going. For brows, I have two products. I have a pencil and a pomade. The pomade is a Makeup Revolution brow pomade, and this is literally a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills pomade, except it's like less than half the price. Definitely must get. Like, it's so good. So that's definitely my favorite eyebrow pomade. And then for a pencil, I really like the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. It's really nice and thin, and you can get a really, like, defined line and really natural looking strokes, and it's just a really good pencil. And again, it is drugstore, so it's really inexpensive as well. Always a plus. So the mascara that stands out for this year is definitely the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise, because not only was this like a new release this year, but it's just a really good mascara on its own, but also the fact that it's pretty much a dupe for the best-selling mascara of all time, which honestly, it wasn't my favorite mascara. I really like the They're Real by Benefit. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Better Than Sex mascara, which I did do a video on comparing the two, and I think it's actually better than the Better Than Sex, but that's just me. But yeah, definitely my favorite mascara of 2017 for sure. Lastly, for eyes, before we move on to the rest of the face and lips, I'm gonna do my favorite lashes of 2017, and that's definitely the Ardell Studio Effects Wispy Lashes. These are so pretty. I'm actually wearing them right now. They're really dramatic. Like, they can go with dramatic looks, but they can also be paired with like everyday looks too. Like, they're just like very versatile lashes. I really like them. I think they're really good for my eye shape personally, and I've gone through like so many pairs of these, so it's definitely my favorite of the year for sure, hands down. Okay, I do have one more eye product, and that is my favorite eyeliner, and that definitely would have to be the Wet n Wild On the Edge long wearing eye pencil. And I did buy these online. I don't think you can get them in store, but they're definitely worth going online because they're really inexpensive, but they are so good. They go on to your eyes really dark, really easy, really pigmented. You don't have to sit there like scraping your eye to get any product. These are just really smooth, pigmented, long-lasting liners. Like I said, I don't have any issues with it running or flaking or anything like that. Like, it stays in place all day. It goes on really easily, and it's really inexpensive. So it's definitely worth the online purchase, because I mean, I would just stock up and get like a couple. That way you don't have to pay shipping that often. But definitely worth it for sure. For highlighter, I have purchased quite a few highlighters this year. I go through different ones, like I'll use different ones at different times, but honestly, if I had to think of one that really stood out for the year, it would be the Maybelline Master Chrome, because it's just such an intense, high pigment, long lasting highlighter, and it's from the drugstore. Like, what? That's what it looks like if you kind of like blend it out. You saw how I like put it on, but if you want it like super pigmented, girl, look at that. Definitely a really good highlighter for sure from the drugstore. This one is in Molten Gold. There is another one, like a more like rosy one. Let me get it. It's called Molten Rose Gold, and it is like more pinky. You can see, like, I'll put it right next to it. So it is more of a pinky highlighter, although this one you can only purchase on Amazon. So I'll leave the link below if you're interested in it. But it's the same formula and everything. It just is more of a pink highlighter. But it just sucks because you can only get it online on Amazon. And then lastly, for lips, I have my favorite lip liners. And it's not a specific shade itself, but it's just like the whole range. And that is the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liners. These are for sure my favorite lip liners from the drugstore. Super amazing. These are just like really good, long wearing, very comfortable lip liners. It's nothing where it's going to stay on your lips like all day long, like it is just a lip liner, but it definitely does have a good lasting power for sure. So that's definitely my favorite liner formula. And then the final product that I have been loving through 2017 is the Revlon Super Lustrous Lip Gloss in Sandstorm. And this is just my go-to lip gloss for anything. Like, that's what I'm wearing on my lips right now, and it's just a really nice, beautiful, juicy lip gloss. Like, it just makes your lips shine. Like, it's so pretty. I absolutely love it. It's really comfortable. It's not super sticky or anything like that. It lasts a pretty decent amount of time, and I feel like it just amps up any lip color. So definitely my favorite for sure, just because you can pair it with like any lip pretty much. So yeah, those are all of my favorites for 2017. Definitely let me know down below what your favorite products are for 2017. Looking at it now, I see that majority of my products are drugstore products, because Honestly, I feel like you can find some really good stuff at the drugstore. Like, my staple items are pretty much all drugstore products. Definitely some really good picks at the drugstore. These are all of my favorite products, drugstore and high-end. Let me know down below what your guys' favorites are for 2017. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!